There are a number of frameworks out there for developing web applications. I'm going to talk about AngularJS today, a popular JavaScript framework supplied by Google and supported by them to develop dynamic view applications for your browser. Angular is what you would call, or basically what they say, is a model view whatever framework. There are lots of distinctions being made today between MVC, model view controller, and MVVM, model view model. Angular really tries to focus on the functionality and doesn't necessarily care what the exact pattern is, as long as it supports the separation of concerns. You do have the concept of controllers in Angular. You have the concept of dynamic views, which are created in HTML for ease of use and ease of flexibility. And you also have the concept of models like you would in any similar framework. Angular also strives to be supportive of routing and deep linking within applications. Deep linking in the context of a web application determines where in that application a user may be, whether they're on a list screen or maybe a details screen, things like that. And Angular by nature is AJAX driven rather than your typical post and redirect to another web page. So Angular is all built around dynamic routing, singular page application framework within the browser. Angular at its basic supports data binding, which is key to any data-driven application. Angular really excels at your typical create, read, update, delete style application, where you're looking for lists of records, you're acting on those records, and then you're redisplaying other screens that deal with those records. Angular is definitely not a framework that you would use for maybe something like a game or animation heavy or design heavy applications. But if you're dealing with data, if you're dealing with RESTful APIs on the back end, and you're dealing with lots of dynamic views, AngularJS is really what you want to use. It's all coded in plain JavaScript, which is fantastic. You can deal entirely with HTML and JavaScript to build your application. And then it's also got built-in RESTful API connections, ease of dealing with data, and communicating with web services. Angular also supports heavy reuse of your components within your application. It creates things called directives, which are reusable components of HTML that you can use on multiple screens without having to recreate templates or re-include HTML over and over again. Angular also supports the concept of dependency injection, which is mainly used to make the application very testable. One of the main benefits of model view, model view controller, model view model, is that because of that separation of concern, you can test things and isolate them to support unit testing. It also makes it very easy to do complete end-to-end testing of your applications, including the views, which is very popular these days and really a must in developing highly dynamic, constantly changing applications. So hopefully that's given you a good flavor of the overview of AngularJS, and we'll get more into the technical details of actually using AngularJS in further videos.